I got this question on LinkedIn the other day. Why do most loudspeakers don't produce good quality sound in low frequencies? And the reason, I believe, that many speakers have a problem to reproduce sound in these very low frequencies is physical limitation. Because as you go down in frequency to lower and lower frequencies with the bass region where you have the bass guitar or the kick drum, when you're in this frequency domain, the wavelength gets longer and longer the further down in frequency you go. And that means to reproduce a very long wavelength, you will need a loudspeaker with a larger diameter on the diaphragm. Diaphragm. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to pronounce. Anyway, so that's why you see on loudspeakers you have like a small tweeter, you got maybe a mid-range, and then you have a little woofer, and they get bigger and bigger. And the bigger they get, the lower in frequency they can reproduce sound. So that's why you sometimes also prefer to add a subwoofer, which is like a really big bass speaker who only takes care about the lowest frequencies. And with the subwoofer you can get good quality sound in these low frequencies. So size does matter. However, size is not everything here. You get what you pay for, because sometimes if you get really good quality stuff, with careful design you can go low in frequency and have good sound quality even with a smaller membrane. I have a pair of Genelec speakers that they just blow me away every time I listen to them, because they have 4-inch, but they're with careful design and some Finnish magic. They can, compared to their size, it's very impressive to the amount of bass that they can put out. But even those have a physical limitations. You can't go indefinitely low, even with very good design. Sometimes you can see that there's this bass reflex horn where this where air comes, it blows air back and forth if you hold your hand when you play music there. And that's a way to tune the loudspeaker so it can go perhaps even lower in frequency than what the membrane would otherwise allow. But anyway, it's not size matters, yes, but quality also matters. So if you pay more, you typically get a better design and you get better sound quality. So it's even if you can reproduce sound to a very, very low frequency, yeah, maybe you can pull it off, but it doesn't sound that good. Maybe it's a lot of distortion or other problems. Now, the second thing that comes to my mind when reading this question is that an ideal loudspeaker should behave as a piston that pushes the air back and forth in the room when you play music through it. And the loudspeaker, it's not about just pushing out one single frequency, because every of these membranes, they take care of a frequency range with many different frequencies. And sometimes when the loudspeaker starts to struggle to emit all these frequencies at once, and that means that if you consider the middle part of the loudspeaker when it pushes back and forth, maybe the outer edges of the cone, they struggle to keep up with the speed, and it starts to add distortion. And I'm not sure, but I think it might be called speaker breakup. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback if there's any loudspeaker experts out there. I wouldn't consider myself a loudspeaker expert by any measure, but this is just what comes to my mind when I read this question, which I think is the reason here. So if the material in the cone isn't stiff enough, you might get some breakup in the cone and you get a lot of distortion. And that's also a typical thing. If you pay more, you get a better quality product. It's a stiffer cone. It can behave as a piston in a wider frequency range. And there are probably more reasons to this as well. Well, I think there's another thing that you can try out if you have some low frequency problem with your speaker system. This placement in the room can be also very important, and your listening positions. If you move the loudspeaker to another place in the room, you can get quite a different frequency response in your listening position. Or if it's possible, if you can move your listening position like further back inside the room like this, you might get a stronger pressure here compared to here. So you have to like move around a bit and listen. And the bass frequencies, they can vary a lot. depending on the position in the room. You don't have that effect when you go up to the mid and the high frequency range, but for the lowest frequencies, it can be a very profound effect. You could, for instance, download a signal generator app on your phone, and you put it out through your audio system, like this little thing that I have here, and I can play back. Let's see if I get some sound. Whoa, super high frequency. You see, I can like sweep. So if you go really low on this one to below 100 hertz, maybe in the 40, 50 to 100 hertz region, and you can play around with it, move around in your room and listen and see what happens. And I think you might find that on certain frequencies you get huge variations inside the room. Yeah, that's about it, and that's my thoughts on why loudspeakers struggle to produce lower frequencies. And like I said, please keep the questions coming. I love to answer them to the best of my ability, and if I don't know how to answer them, maybe I can find someone who does know. And in today's video, I'm gonna give you a little style tip, as always, and I want to show you, I'm wearing black pants today, also with some black and gray socks to balance it out, and I have a light skin complexion, and that means it's difficult for me to wear a black jacket. I even have one here. Let's read and you'll see what I mean. If I were like, if I'm rocking this one like a New Year's outfit, well, that's fine, because then it's part of the attire of the dress code. But like casual, if I were wearing a black sweater or a black jacket, you see the contrast between my skin color and the black. It becomes a bit too much. So what I do here is that I balance it out with a charcoal gray pullover like this, the V-neck. So then the black comes far away from my skin, and then I think it kind of works. And then I pair it with a charcoal gray white shirt and this burgundy knit tie, which I think goes really great with the gray and black. So it's black is a color that is a bit sensitive to the skin complexion. Some of you out there, you have great skin complexions to pair with black, and it's going to work out perfectly. Whereas if you have more my skin complexion, more to the pinkish side, it's more difficult, and you have to be more careful when you use black. I used to wear a lot of black back in the days when I didn't know anything about style or fashion, but now I've read up on it a bit, and I think I'm on the right path. And with that, I want to wish you have a nice evening or morning or lunch or wherever you are in the world. See you later.